had to stop the phone. Okay, there we go. We are taking a little drive, but we're not far from where we're going. I needed to run an errand for my mom, and since I was already leaving, I said, okay, let me go get some fresh air. And I actually haven't been to this hiking trail in a while. I think the last time I was here, I came out here with Trav. So I said I'll come here. I typically go to the reservoir. So I love to just be around water and trees and all that jazz. But since I was coming to this side of town anyway, I said, okay, I'll go here. And it's crazy a little bit because the closer and closer I get to it, the more I'm like feeling additional emotions well up in me. And it's almost like my freaking body is like, yes, and like edging to what I put in the title of like release. And I'm like, oh, I don't know what I'm gonna do when I get out here. Am I gonna like scream? Like I kind of feel like I want to cry, but I don't feel sad at all. But I'm like, where are these tears coming from? But I only noticed it like as I'm driving and as I'm getting closer, because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go here first, and then on the way back, then I'll stop at the store, grab what my mom needs, yada 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 yada. I also grabbed my tennis racket. So I said, okay, I want to find like a tennis court along the way, maybe, so I can get a couple hits in. That'll be cool. But it's so interesting to me to that's the most stable, so y'all gonna have to bear with that. Sorry. It's so interesting to me as I'm like physically getting closer to where I'm going, specifically to like a quick walk / hike. And maybe it's also because I'm like settling into my thoughts and like checking in with myself and like, how are you feeling? What are you not processing? What are the things like in going where I'm going? I'm like, okay, this is like going to be a break and a breather. So like, what are the things that you kind of put on the shelf and you don't address in the moment because you're busy doing all of the other things? What are the things that you have been feeling, have been thinking, but just didn't prioritize it because there were other things that were of greater priority at the time? And I guess that's also might be what's coming to mind from like the subconscious mind to my forefront mind. And that could be spurring on the feeling. Here, that's stable. That's like a little bit more stable, maybe. I don't know. I think so. Hopefully. It's the best I can do because this isn't my car. So yeah, while I was driving, I was thinking about my parents and the place that they currently are in life and the things that I want for them and how what I want for them versus what they want for them, and like the conflict of those two things. I don't even know, but that might be, I put that there, that might be blocking the mic. So hopefully y'all can still hear me, I can speak up. And that is a little bit saddening to me, but not like, I'm not sad, it's just that thought is a little bit saddening to me because one of the things that I kind of hope for is that I can provide friendship to my parents that I feel like they deserve, but they don't necessarily receive. And spending, my life with them and having my interactions is one thing to have it as a daughter, but to have grown through certain lived experiences and gain perspective about various things, it's like I want to take the fruits of that and apply it to my loved ones around me. So like, in the desire to like be their friends, like maybe be their best friends, it comes from a place of like feeling like they deserve it. They deserve people to show up for them. They deserve people to fully consider them. They deserve people to tell them the things they need to hear from a place of like love and really great intentions, and not from a place of like trying to manipulate you to do things that they want you to do. Because I feel like I don't know much about my dad's friends. He doesn't keep a lot of people around him. He doesn't trust many people. But I know for a fact my mom doesn't like have that, but she deserves that. And I guess the saddening part about it is like I think I'm coming to a place of realization of no matter how good of a friend I want to be to my parents, I don't think I can actually be like a bad, because I'm still their daughter at the end of the day, and then there's still so much that comes up as it pertains to that relationship. And then going back to what I was speaking about before about, what you want for people versus what they want for themselves, then there's great conflict there, right? Like there's certain things that both my parents, like separately, don't necessarily deal with a process, and that sometimes is hurtful to me as a daughter. But if I was just a friend, then I could objectively better look at that and not have feelings attached to it in the moment. And I've started to see, I've started to see that pop up recently. So I guess it's like saddening to me of like, dang, I really do want to be this person, but maybe I can't be this person. But low key, I only want to be the person because there's nobody else to do it. Because I would want that period. I want to have like a really great relationship with my parents, which I think I have a much better one than I did when I was younger for sure. But I don't get to just fill that role and it be as smooth sailing as I would like, simply because nobody else is doing it, because unfortunately that would require me to completely ignore all the feelings and the thoughts that comes from my personhood in my relationship with them. And it's just like I say all the time, like people need to pick their struggle, and like I don't get to have both. So if anything, I have to better prioritize leaning into, I guess, adding more friendliness within my relationship of daughter versus trying to stand up both being a daughter and a BFF. Because again, just showing up and giving what I think that they deserve, but then also showing up for myself fully, and honoring all of my feelings and stuff that comes with it. Because in a lot of ways, so much of like what I want for my parents in friendship is like the honesty to like process feelings and mistakes and different things. And with both my parents separately, there's still so much lack of accountability and lack of emotional maturity to really assess certain things, and they still are very defensive about a lot of things, so those conversations can't be had. And yeah, so I'm like coming to that realization, and I think that's sad because when you have like a goal, it sucks when you realize like, oh, I actually might actually be able to achieve this goal. But then you have to give respect and credence to the fact of like, if it's something that's 100% out of your control, or like 50% out of your control, then you actually cannot tack on your bill like the failure of it not being what you hoped it would be, or doing what you thought you could do, because girl, you can only do what you can do. So totally sitting there whining. little Cody content. Some of y'all have still a lot of asked about me. Thank you so much for asking. And thank you for moderating that table. So I'm about to go walk on this trail. I'm kind of like processing my thoughts around that. And also something that's really pervasive right now is like, how am I curating like my personal content and how I show up? Like, one of the things I know as like a social media manager and a digital strategist is like you need to curate your content around your life. And one of the thoughts I was just thinking at a red light was like, yo, I currently feel like I'm in such a survival and struggle season. How do I make that look sexy? How do I make that for social media? I don't want to just create struggle content. So that's like plaguing me is like, how do I have all of these very real struggles and interpersonal conflicts and all of that, and feel like, for lack of better words, I feel like I'm not winning this season. Like, I feel like I'm not in a place of like just excelling and just doing well and everything it's looking great. Like, it just is not happening. And that's not me being like self-deprecating. It's me being honest about the space that I feel like I'm in. And like, how do you then create content in the like that part I'm struggling with? But it's really great. I came out to get a fresh air in the woods and whatnot, which I didn't bring any bug spray, so this will be interesting. But I think the space in the air will help me process those thoughts. I'm just telling y'all what I'm thinking about right now. I'm gonna leave this in the car, and I just had this big ass coffee, cold brew oat milk, and a caramel. And then big ass water. Like, bro, you have a one piece on. Did we think this through? It's giving no. It's giving you're gonna have to pee in the woods and you have a one piece on. Women know what that means. Okay, everything else I'm gonna leave here. I kinda wanna take my notebook with me, but if anything, I'll just record some thoughts and like write later. I am not dressed for no damn hike, so this is not gonna be like a true hike, but it's gonna be like hike light. I'll start going out because I'm out here. Allie said, I'll start going out because I'm out here. Allie said, my mom today, and I told her that I feel like I'm unfulfilled, but I know where the emotion is coming from. My job is training, I want to quit, and I feel like I'm not being purposeful within my purpose. Oof, oof. That is such a real, and like, when that comes, I feel like you have to move. Like, you gotta do something. It starts to gnaw at you. Too soon before it's gonna like cut out, but this is my, so I take that path and go under this like road, and then it'll be hiking up over there. The service was tripping. It's so hard, Allie, because it's like you need to do things that feel impactful, feel meaningful. Otherwise, you slip into this space of like, what does it all mean and why am I doing anything? And as a person who, you know, has left things, has pivoted, I definitely want people something else steady and stable. It's hard. Like, it is hard to be able to financially support yourself while creatively fulfilling your purpose, or if your purpose is in some type of art or creativity, the shit is not easy. There are so many times where you're like trying to figure out how to make ends meet, how to do this thing, and so often I find myself in burnout, not because I'm like just creating constantly, but because I have to overwork to like string things together to financially support myself and then also create. Like if I had the, like I still, where I am now, I still don't have the blessing of consistently making what I need to make simply off of my like art and purpose, right? So that means I have to do other things, and all of that becomes a lot. So the job, especially if it's the one that, you know, doesn't necessarily serve your purpose, if it is covering the finances, it becomes it becomes something that, now being in it for multiple years, right? Like specifically if I'm just thinking about the chapter of my life of like prioritizing my YouTube channel, which has been the last 3 years. A job figure out how to keep it just so that you worry about the finances, because the financial concerns be the shit that's like, and you know, I live in LA, I live alone. My father is like, you need to get another roommate and you need to da-da-da. And I haven't done that because even within that, it's like cultivating my experience. Like I really enjoy having a separate space to create when I'm able to, and I love living alone. Like I love being able to control my space and not have to like manage myself and all of that. Like I love having a place to really just seek refuge from the world, period. But all of that is a cost, right? So like I pay more, because so now I'm paying the full price of things that I could have been paying half for. And I travel a lot, and I'm like trying to also support my family and like work in family businesses, so that takes a part away from things. And like if I had a job, and quiet as kept right now, I'm literally at the place of this weekend I'm considering applying for a couple of like upper positions, specifically not to support myself now, but I want to buy a house. And well, I'm in the process right now of buying my mom's house, but I also want to set myself up to buy a house in LA, and I want to fund my series. So I'm literally considering right now getting a job, a corporate job, specifically to do those two things, to create a more consistent show of income, to have that income coming in, to save for a house in LA, which is going to be a little under $1 million, and to be able to get a mortgage for one, and to be able to put away a couple tens of thousands of dollars to make this one of the shows that I want to make. So what I say to that is something, and we've kind of talked about it before. I just say hold the job until the very last second, and in where you are now with the job, audit what it is about the experience and what can you change about the experience before you completely quit the experience. So if the job itself is draining you, like take stock of what exactly is draining you about the job. Can you change any of that? Can you change how invested you are in the conversations with your coworkers? Can you, and by saying that, it's like, and what I mean by that is, can you go into work and still maintain, you know, whatever your performance level is, and not have conversations with people, but you're like constantly listening to uplifting podcasts, the podcasts that keep you in the zone of, you know, what you want to do and where you want to be. So then now you're at work, but you're being fed messages that are more in line with what you want to do. So now you're kind of integrating that into your job, right? Are you covering for people at work and like doing more than what your job description describes? If so, peel back, start doing what your job description describes, document that, and then, you know what I'm saying, then that frees you up a little bit more. I'll just really, really consider and again, not abandon the job until you figured out how to get the most out of it, not only like within, like financially within the job, but then also going over to your art. If you have not found a way to be consistent, even at the bare minimum with the job, it is not going to be easier for you to find a way to be consistent without it. And that is something that people don't really know, and I know I didn't know until I was actually in it. Discipline is a muscle that we have to build, and yes, we feel like not having enough time is forcing us to not be able to build that muscle, when in all actuality it's the perfect proving grounds for you to build that muscle. So also, before you leave, commit to something and show yourself sticking to it, so that it's easier for you to maintain that once you do have more time to do so, versus scrambling once you don't have anything to like cultivate this consistency and discipline practice, but then also make money from what you're doing and support yourself. That's a lot. And again, that's something I don't feel like people talk about or know before they do it. This one loves being outside. Anyway, I might start to break up, y'all, because I'm about to go in. Come on, man. You didn't have all this time to sniff this. Look at this. Isn't this gorgeous? And I low-key got to pee and don't know how I'm going to be able to do it. Coley, come on now. Come. No, come. Let's go. There's plenty of smells. You're going to smell good things. Let's go.